Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Tourism Webinar Legal 101. We're going to be learning a lot about how to structure our tourism businesses the legal way, the right way. A lot of us start our tourism business with passion, and maybe we did not do the legal parts well. And some of us are paying for it. Example, me. Earlier this year, I decided to structure my tourism business because I noticed that I was missing opportunities because my structures were not okay. Issue of tax was a problem. I need to sort out my tax. I need to save my brand, intellectual property. And lo and behold, Barinaada Legal, which is a legal company, came to my rescue. And as I'm talking to you right now, my trademark is being processed. My legal structures are being put in place because of Barinaada Legal. So I just thought, why keep this beautiful news to myself when I can share with people in the tourism space? My people, that's you guys. And I'm very happy for those who signed in and those of you who are joining in right now. Thank you for joining. But before I introduce them, I would like us to at least put in the chat box, tell me where you are right now. I know most of us are in Nigeria, but I'd like you to introduce yourself, like give me your name and where you're located right now. I want to be sure that we are here and we are live and you're all hearing me. Zubi, can you guys hear me, Zubi and Amida?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear
awesome.
you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for clarifying that. Please, if you are here, put in the chat box where you are located. Give me your name and where you're located. Let me know that we are here and we are bubbly and we're looking forward to this before we kickstart. Bethel from Taraba State. Awesome. Welcome, Bethel. 𝘗𝘂𝘴𝘶𝗵 from Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Thank you, 𝘗𝘂𝘴𝘶, for joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please, let's keep pouring this in. Let's keep pouring this in. I want to know where we're all tuning in from. Let me know, let us share this. Meanwhile, as we're sharing that, Cornelius from Lagos, we see you from Lagos, awesome. I have a poll. I want to know, let me know if you all see the polling. The polling is to at least gauge what we're looking forward to for this webinar. Let me know, can you see it? Can you see it? Zubi, can you see it? Let me know if you can see the poll. I've just shared it now. Can you see from your screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes,
awesome.
I can.
Yes,
You two are not allowed to answer this poll, so don't even answer it. All right, if you are here, please answer the poll. Let's see. Okay, somebody has answered. We need more answers. We need more answers. We need more answers. We want to know what legal challenge is your tourism business currently facing. Let us know. Please share it in the poll. While you're introducing yourself, give us your first name and where you are tuning in from. Only 3 people have answered this poll. Please, I need more. I think we're about 14 or 15 people right now. I need you all to please answer. And answer the poll. Let me see. Okay, more people. Awesome. 4 more people. I need more. 14 people. I need more. I'm not going to end this poll until I'm sure that everybody, at least 10 of us, answer this question. If you're just coming in, welcome. We're doing a poll. We want to know what you're looking forward to learn from today. The first question is, what legal challenges is your tourism business currently facing? We want to gauge and know what it is. The second question is, what do you hope to learn from Tourism Legal 101 webinar? Okay, so I need more people. 5 people have answered and 16 people are on this poll. Okay, more people. I need more people to answer. At least if I get up to 10 of us to answer this, then we can kickstart this webinar. I need more people to answer. Please, 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 please. As you're coming in, hello, hi, welcome. Give us your first name and where you are right now. Where are you staying? Are you in Lagos? Are you in Taraba, like Bethel or River State? Please, where are you right now? Put it in the chat box. And if you've not answered the poll, please answer it now. The first question is, what legal challenges it's supposed to be your tourism business currently facing? Please select more than one answer so that we can move forward. And then the second question is, what do you hope to learn from the Tourism Legal 101 webinar? If you got my email, it's shared about 3 things we're going to be focusing on. legal foundation, your contracts and agreements, and protecting your intellectual property. I need like 3 or 4 more people to answer this poll, and then we will kickstart. Okay, I need like 3 or 4 more people to answer this poll. If you've not answered the poll, please do so now. It's going to help us gauge what we are looking forward to for today's webinar. Then we can kickstart. Awesome. I need 2 more people. 8 people have answered out of 15. At least 2 more people to answer the question. What legal challenges is your tourism business currently facing? And what do you hope to learn from the Tourism Legal 101 webinar? I need 2 more people, and then we can kickstart this webinar. 2 more people, 2 more people. If you're just joining in, please put in the chat box your first name and where you're tuning in from. And then if you can see the poll, please, I need about 2 more people to answer the poll, and then we kickstart this webinar. 2 more people, 2 more, 2 more. Is the right way. Can I have 2 more people answer? Going once, going twice. All right. 8 people have answered. I will just end the poll like that. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to share the results with everyone. So for the first question, what legal challenges is your tourism business currently facing? We had about 38% say business registration is a problem. 38% said tax compliance. About 63% said intellectual property. Then 38% said regulatory compliance, and then 50% said legal documents as contract and agreement. Okay, so that means for this poll, the intellectual property seems to have won the votes. People are really very focused about building the right brand and saving it, safeguarding it. The second question, what do you hope to learn from Tourism Legal 101 webinar? The first question, the first answer, which is building a strong legal foundation, got 13%. Then navigating contracts and agreements got about 63%. And protecting intellectual property also got 63%. Awesome. This is really nice. I'm glad we're able to do this poll. It gives us an idea of what we're looking for. All right, so let me close the poll. Okay, so and let me see the chat if more people have introduced themselves. Okay, Kingsley is currently listening from Ogun State. Then we have 𝘧𝘂𝗿𝗶𝘀𝗺 listening from the United States. Welcome, everyone. I'm very happy to have you. I have Yvonne from Lagos, streaming live from Lagos. Welcome, everyone that's here. I really am happy to see you. So we're going to go straight to it so that we can learn. So there are 3 things we're learning today is about the legal foundation, how to at least have that foundation, the things you need to know to build the foundation for your legal business. Then the second one I'm going to focus on is your contracts and agreements. A lot of us go into businesses, we do not have contracts, don't have agreement. And when bad things happen, we start crying, we lose money. I've been there, so this is important. And then the last one, intellectual property. I can see that a lot of people are looking forward to that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝗍. So 𝘧𝘂𝗍 is like my personal legal person. She was the one that coordinated my my legal structure with their Barinaada program. So they hold a program called the Barinaada Legal Structure, where they will bring in those of us who are small businesses, entrepreneurs, so that can help us with our legal structure. And it was 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝗍 that personally handled mine with her team. So I want you to do 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝗍 so she can do the main introduction, and then we'll kickstart with at least the first 2. That's the contract and the foundation part. 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝗍, are you ready for me?
Yes, ma, I am.
All right, honey, have the floor.
All right. Thank you so much, ma, for the kind introduction. It was really nice of you. Hi, everybody. My name is 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝗍. I am a legal associate with Barinaada Legal. I'm a lawyer who works very much in the tech space. And tonight I'll be talking with my colleague, Amida Hassan, and we'll be delving into what you can do to protect your business as a tourist personnel. So I just hope you can focus and join us on this ride. And please do well to ask whatever questions you have. And Yeah, I would start. So firstly, we're going to talk about, please, I want to be sure everybody is hearing me. Can you hear me? Please, if you can
Yes,
hear
Julie.
Okay. So firstly, we're going to talk about building a strong legal foundation for a tourist business in Nigeria. I know that it's quite difficult to run a business in Nigeria or to run a business, especially when it comes to legal compliance, because a lot of us tend to downplay the place of legality in your business. We believe that, or the place of legal structure, not legality. Legality is not a word. Legal structure in your business, we downplay it a lot because we believe, oh, if I'm not harming anybody, if I'm not doing anything that seems morally wrong to me, then I'm not doing anything wrong. But we forget that there's a place of morality and there's a place of legal structure. So today we'll be talking about the legal foundation for every tourist business in Nigeria. So the first thing you're to do when you want to start a business is your business registration. After you've probably identified who and who you want to run your business with, who your shareholders are going to be, who your directors are going to be, if you're going to own your business alone. Now, I know that a lot of people don't know this, but according to the recently reviewed Company and Allied Matters Act of 2020, an individual can own a company, meaning I can decide to own a company all by myself. I can decide to take up 100% of my shares and keep it for myself. I can decide not to share with anybody and run my company as I deem fit. Unlike the previous scammer of 2004, where you had to register a company with at least 2 directors. Now that provision has been scrapped out. It's been scrapped out and reviewed, and now I can own a business alone. So to register your business in Nigeria, you have to register with the Company and Allied Matters Act Commission to gain a legal status. Then there are 2 ways to register your business. You can register your business as a private company limited by shares, or you can register it as a business name. I rap sometimes when I talk too fast. I hope I'm not talking too fast.
No, Julie.
Okay. So you can register your business as a company or as a business name. Now I'm going to talk about the benefits of both. When you register your company as a business name, it's not a company. It's more like telling 𝘧𝑐𝑂𝗿𝗏, hey, hold this name for me. Keep it. Whenever I feel I have more money, I would upgrade. You don't have any distinct legal personality. If you ever get into trouble, all the person has to do is to sue you because a business name has no legal personality. However, if you register your company as a company limited by shares, a private company limited by shares, it gives you a distinct personality, meaning that your company is seen as a person and you are seen as a person. If you ever get into issues, if you ever have issues tomorrow, it's the company that is responsible, not whoever is behind the company, whoever owns the company. Meaning, if I run a business called Royal Temptations, if Royal Temptations gets into trouble, they sue Royal Temptations. If they have to seize assets, they seize the assets of Royal Temptations. Nobody gets to arrest me or do anything with me. I only appear as a representative of the company. So it's always important to understand the distinct features between the both and know which one you want. However, a lot of people start their businesses as a business name, and when they want to, when they find out the difference, they start to panic. There's actually no need to panic. Now, the reason is because 𝘧𝑐𝑂𝗿𝗏 has what we call an upgrade system, where you tell them, okay, please, I need to upgrade from a business name to a company, and the consent to you, and then you do that. So in as much as, before you register a company, you have to do name reservation, name search. Once you already have a business name, it means that that name has been reserved for you. When you want to upgrade, all you have to do is add limited to your name and pay the necessary statutory fees, and you upgrade it. I don't know if that is clear. Then the next one, it's very important to have your tax compliance put in place. A lot of people don't really take tax seriously. And that is really sad, because one day you wake up and find out that you're owing so much. When people don't file annual returns, 1, 2, 3, they've struck out your company. People don't register with FIRS. People don't do that, and it's unfortunate, because these things would definitely come back. You think the government, you think the establishments, these establishments are not noticing, or institutions are not noticing. Truth is, they are noticing. They are just waiting for you. So you have to make sure that you register with FIRS, that's the Federal Inland Revenue Services. And most times, if you do your company incorporation with Barinaada Legal, we make sure you have a smooth ride. We do your tax registrations for you. We do your incorporation for you. We do your upgrade for you. We remind you from time to time to file your annual returns, so you don't keep piling it up and gathering penalties. Okay, so next we're going to talk about licensing. It's really important to find out whatever license you need. For instance, tourism is broad. I know tourism includes travel, includes hotel bookings, includes a lot of things. So you have to find out, what licenses do I need for the niche I want to focus on? If I want to run a podcast for my tourist business, do I need a license? If I need a license, where do I obtain that from? And that's why we have Barinaada Legal, because when you come to us, we have a legal needs assessment session with you, and we find out what your niche is. We find out what licenses you need, and we take it up from there and make sure that you have whatever you need. For instance, recently we had a client who wanted to start a drone company. And it was in that moment I found out that you can't just fly a drone. You know, when you go for events, you go to church, you see them flying drones, and you're like, oh, it's so cute. You see the aerial view from drone videos, and you are impressed. You think it's just, oh, let me buy drone, carry the remote and fly it around. It's not like that. Before you fly a drone in Nigeria, whether it's for your personal use, whether it's for commercial use, you must visit the NCAA, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. You must visit their office. You must obtain the license to fly a drone from them. The share capital you use to register a company that flies a drone is different from what you use to register any other company. So these are things that people don't take into consideration, because they overlook the legal structuring of their business until they get into trouble. The expense of putting in legal structure in your business cannot save you from what will probably happen if you don't. So when you, the third thing we're going to talk about when you want to lay a strong legal foundation is your licensing. Pay attention, visit Nigerian Tourist Development Corporations, check online for whatever permits. These are things you can also do by yourself, do your own due diligence, or you can come on board with us and we do it for you. Check, some people, you can't build a hotel, for instance, in a particular area. You need a particular permit, you need this, that. You have to check and know what you need to be sure. Then number 4, I will just talk about insurance. Nigerians are fond of downplaying insurance. If I was not a lawyer, I'll probably be an insurance woman, because I believe in putting money aside for the unseeables. You never know what will happen. You never know if you're going to fall sick. You never know if you're going to get in an accident. You just never know. So I'm a strong believer in insurance. It's important that as a tourist business owner, that you ensure that you have insurance. You can't just sign people up to travel and then you don't have travel insurance. I recently read an article where, you know, somebody brought her mom for a holiday in the UK, and her mom got there and fell sick. Now, the unfortunate thing is that they didn't have any travel medical insurance. So by the time they went to the hospital, the ER and all of that, the mom liked the hospital and kept saying, oh, she doesn't feel better. And they tried to tell her that the longer you stay here, the more it's eating out of our pockets. But she didn't really understand it until the bill came and they were owing thousands of pounds. Now, this is someone now responded to the tweet and was like, this is something that could easily be avoided if only they had paid attention to taking up medical insurance for their mom. Insurance is large. you have insurance against fire. If you're going to carry a group of people in a tour bus, city to city, you have to insure them against fire. You have to get health insurance for them. And I'm not going to sell any insurance company, but I do know a good number of them that you can get proper and wonderful insurance packages from. If you really want to know them, you can always reach out to me. I can hook you up to some. But I think it's important that you do your due diligence on important health insurance, travel insurance, insurance against fire, and make sure that you get this insurance for your customers or your clients. Next, we're going to talk about some laws that govern employment, that govern staff members, that govern your clients. So I'm first going to talk about consumer protection. It's important for every business owner to understand quality and consumer protection. If you join our BLS program, we do lectures. And one of the core topics we talk about during our expert sessions is quality assurance. So a lot of people don't understand that client retention is just as important as trying to convince people to get on board with you. So there's a lot of people don't also understand that there's a lot of protection that consumers or clients have in Nigeria. It's just that Nigerians, as I always say, would always be Nigerians because we don't pay attention to the little things. Some of my friends complain about me. They say I like to report because I am a reporter. I'm a report card. If I go to an establishment, if I go to the supermarket to buy something and the cashier is rude to me, I will report her. If the manager is rude to me, I'll report him to his superior. If I go to buy a ticket and I will report you. Because when I do my job with my whole heart. I make sure that I serve my clients. I serve people that patronize me with my whole heart because I know without them, I won't be able to get my salary. I won't be able to get money in my pocket. So people don't understand the kind of rights consumers have in Nigeria. We have the FCCPC Act, the Federal Consumer Competition Protection Commission. They have an act. Now, I think they recently sealed a Chinese supermarket that was selling something in a currency that is not Naira. When they want to work, they usually work. I know they always say, when Nigeria wants to work, make sure you're not a scapegoat. But yes, they have a rule in the act that says, so long as a consumer has not used your services, please refund. Now, a lot of people don't understand this. That's why I always say, before you begin your business, make sure you get your legal structuring. If you meet a consumer or a client that is ready to tear your business down, then you would understand that some things are bigger than spiritual forces. Some people are ready to do that to your business. Now, an instance can come up that, okay, I saw something. I know there's this tall person on the on Instagram that was saying, oh, a couple booked a travel ticket with him for one of his tour travel groups, and 2 weeks to the vacation, they broke up. And now they are saying, oh, how are they going to do it? And they can't go together. They already booked a tour group for the same room, the same this, the same that. They can't stand each other, and they need a refund. And now everybody in the comment section was saying, how can you refund them? They've paid. The luck that the tour company had is that they had a T&C that said, we can't refund you. That's the only saving grace. That line, that clause is the only saving grace they had. Because if, for instance, they didn't have a proper T&C, or they probably didn't even have any legal, everybody just wants to sell out. They didn't have legal structure in place and they just sold the slot to them. They are mandated under the FCCPC Act to refund the consumer because the consumer has not made use of their service, has not made use of their goods. So they are mandated to refund the consumer. Now, this looks very small until you meet somebody who is ready to take it to the ground with you. And you'd be asking yourself, is it not just? And the person will tell you, no, it's not just, it's also to deal with you. So these are little things you need to take note of. And that's why I always encourage people to sign up for our BLS program, because these are little things that you don't know we teach you, and it keeps you protected as a business owner. Then we have employment laws that govern your staff members, that govern your business in general, and how you treat the people who work for you. Many of us don't really understand that the people who work for us are just as important as we are to our business. They make us, they mar us. They build us, they also break us. So it's important that you join our BLS program. It's important that you pay attention to these details. Now, minimum wage is no longer 33,000, it's now 70,000 plus. A lot of businesses are not going to implement it until somebody goes out to whistleblow or something happens, and then somebody becomes a scapegoat for the government. So I think right now I would pause and hand over to Amida to continue, and I'll still come back. Thank you so much. Please, if you do have any questions, please just write it down and we'll respond to it after this session. Amida. Okay, hi. I saw a question in the chat box that said, what is a T&C? Okay, I'm really sorry for the short form. A T&C is a terms and conditions. It's a terms and condition. So it's just like you fill T&Cs when you go to the bank, when you're using the internet to say, do you accept? I accept. It's a terms and conditions. So recently I was doing a research work for one of the courses I'm doing, and we extensively talked about T&Cs being bulky, that people don't have patience to read it. And that's because when you get T&Cs, they always make sure they put fine print behind. So you sign what you don't know about. Well, for me, I always encourage that businesses have T&Cs, terms and conditions, that are appealing to their customers, to their clients, to their consumers. So someone can read and have confidence in your business model. If you're going to give me a bank terms and conditions that is written in a tiny font, I'm always going to think it's shady business, because if it was not shady business, you write it in a font that I would understand in an intelligible way that I would be able to read, comprehend, and be able to accept truly with my heart, not under duress because I don't have a choice. So it answers the terms and conditions. Please, if you do have any other questions, please drop it in the chat session and we'll attend to it.
Zubi, somebody asked a question, Jimmy. I don't know if you've seen it. It's number one, how can a name registration be registered with CAC? I don't know if can you see the question?
Yes, I can.
Okay, please go ahead. Please ask.
All right, so I think I already explained it. It's called a business name. A business name can be registered with CAC, but just like I explained before, a business name doesn't have a distinct legal personality. So even if you do that, you can do that, honestly. I wouldn't say you cannot do that, but I would always say the difference between a business name registration and a company registration is very little. So why not save yourself the heartbreak of doing that instead of, why not just register a company? Why would you do a business name? But I mean, you can do that if you want. And for CAC, it can take as long as 2 days, 1 day to a month. That's just how CAC works. I can't tell you, oh, it's 3 days, or it's 1 week. No, it can take anywhere between 1 day. You might be lucky that the day you decide to do the incorporation, it doesn't take time. You might be unfortunate the week you decide to work, it will take so long. So it can take anywhere between a day to at least 2 weeks for your incorporation to be done. And yes, a business name would still pay tax. All you have to do is to still file your taxes. And of course, you can operate your business in Nigeria before paying taxes. I mean, when you register your business, I think you're not supposed to pay tax for at least, I think, a year and 6 months. I'm not really sure. Let me not say what I'm not sure of. But I believe that you're giving some period. I think it's a logical reasoning that, okay, this time is for you to get your business off the ground first. before you can start to pay your tax.
Okay,
And
there's one more
also,
question.
someone said, yeah, I'm seeing another question that said, I've registered a business name for about 6 years and I have not paid annual returns for once. Will I pay for those years before upgrading? Yes, sir. You will have to pay for your annual returns before you upgrade. Now, the unfortunate thing is that every year you do not pay, you incur penalties. And these are not penalties of 1,000. They are not penalties of 2,000 naira either. So every year you don't pay, you incur penalties. So for someone who has been owing for over 6 years, I mean, you would have to do the math. And for the annual returns for business names, you have to make sure you pay your annual returns before June 30th. Then for company, it's December 31st. So before you do your upgrade, you must pay your annual returns. You must get your company activated from their portal. If you check right now, your company is probably saying inactive. You must get it activated from their portal. Then you have to send them a consent letter with your incorporation documents, and they would upgrade your company after you pay the statutory fees. Yes, if you register, yes, ma'am. If you register a company as an individual and you want to upgrade to have directors later, you can do that. But I would always ask you, why do you want to have directors? I'm a very strong believer in protecting your business. And that's what we do at Barinaada Legal. We make sure that you are very aware of whatever you're about to do. You're making conscious decisions and you are sure that this is what you want to do. So yes, if you want to add a director, of course you can. But before you do that, we would have to have a conversation to be sure why you feel having a director is important. I mean, you can have partners and get partnership agreements. You can have investors and get investor agreements. You can have founders and get founders agreements with them, whereas you still maintain your legal personality of being the only director in the company, meaning you call the shots, you're the chief director. So if you do want to have number of directors, and there is, I think for a private company, there's a limit to how many directors, I think 50 directors. Then for a public company, there's no limit, but I'm not still quite sure. This is just residual knowledge. So if you really want an answer on that, we can always have a conversation later. Please let me hand over to Amida so that we can continue and we can get on with the T&Cs later.
Sorry, Zubi, you missed one question, which will be the last one. How long can a business owner operate a business name before regularization?
I don't exactly understand what the person means by regularization. So I mean, if you can explain, then I'll be able to answer it.
Okay, Mr. Jimmy, if you can explain in the comment, but let's go to Amida because we don't have time now. Amida, please go ahead and host yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amida, as earlier introduced. So I will be speaking with you about contracts and agreements in the tourism industry. So one thing I want to start with is that people or businesses, for whatever reason, believe that they do not have to create contracts or agreements for everything that they do, but you do, because you need a contract to specify exactly what you and your client will be getting yourself into. So I created slides for myself to read off of, because when I start to talk, I can just go off. So I would be reading off my slides. So as I said, having strong contracts is essential to ensure smooth operation, manage risk, and build trust with clients and partners alike. So you have to understand the basics of contracts, which is why contracts matter in tourism. So basically, contracts matter because they are the backbone of any business arrangement. They set out the rights and obligations of everybody involved, that's you and the client. And then in tourism, these agreements can cover a wide range of relationships, just aside from a contract between you and your clients. There are other relationships in the business that a contract can cover. So service contracts with suppliers, agreements with clients, I said that, and partnerships with other businesses. You need to have contracts for all of this. You need to have agreements, well written down, concise, unambiguous contracts and agreements. So a well-drafted contract can protect you from disputes. It will limit your liability, and it will ensure that everybody is clear on what is expected. So in a contract that, a contract specifically for tourism, there are some key clauses that have to be in there. So one of the first clauses that have to be there is the scope of services. Your scope of services basically says, okay, what are you offering? What are you offering your client? What are they getting from you? So is it a complete travel package? Is it accommodation? Is it guided tour? All those things that come with tourism. So vagueness in the scope can lead to misunderstanding, and a misunderstanding would lead to unsatisfied clients, which is bad for business. So another essential clause is payment terms. So tourism services often involve advance payments or deposits. So it's crucial to be clear about pricing, any required deposits, or cancellation fees. So if you're going to include payment terms, you have to be clear about the pricing, like how much does it cost? Are there added charges and things like that? Because that's one issue that mainly comes up. It's like you say, oh, you're going to pay for hotel and all of that, but you do not specify if you're going to pay for their breakfast, if they're going to pay for their lunch, dinner, that type of thing. I'm just using a very vague example, but basically that's what it is. You have to include everything about the pricing. So about the payment terms, sorry. And then you have to make sure your clients know what they're committing to and what penalties may apply for late payments. So you may be offering a what's the word? All this, or if you pay within a specific time, you get so and so benefits, but then if there is late payment, you're not eligible for this specific benefit. So that also has to be clearly stated in your contract. So cancellations and refunds, very, very important. So as you know, tourism is very unpredictable, with factors like weather, political events, health issues that impact travel plans. So you have to include clear cancellation policies along with a force majeure. A force majeure basically is unforeseen circumstances. So you have to include a clause that would cater to that. Like, okay, what if we travel to a country and there is a tsunami or there's flood and all of that? So how are your clients protected? Or even you, how are you as a business protected in that particular situation? So we have liability and indemnification clauses. So like I said earlier, if there is a force majeure, like who is liable? How do you make payments? If the person ends up in the hospital, how does that, or like how is their medical fees catered to and all of that, which is where health insurance comes into, but we're going to speak about that later on. So your liability and indemnification clause basically specifies who is liable in case of accidents, injuries, or other incidents. So given the risk associated with activities like adventure tourism or international travel, limiting your liability can save your business from costly legal battles. So finally, we have dispute resolution. So if a disagreement should arise, options like mediation or arbitration can be far less time-consuming and expensive than going to court. Some people believe that as soon as there's an issue between them and their clients, there's a disagreement or something, you just have to wear your shoes and start going to court or calling up your lawyer like, oh, I want to meet this person in court. But there are other ways. There are other ways that you can handle matters, which are mediation and arbitration. And any good lawyer would advise you to go through those methods first before you meet yourself in courts per se. So also, if you're dealing with international clients, that's clients from other countries, you also have to choose the right jurisdiction and applicable laws. Like you have to, the dispute resolution clause has to state that, okay, if the person that we're in a dispute with, like my company is in a dispute with, is in so and so country, then how do we fix the issue? Which legal steps do we take? Do we focus on local laws or international laws? That kind of thing. So moving on from that, we have consumer protection laws. So in your contract, you have to include your consumer protection laws. There are some things that are no-brainers, like you cannot not include them in the contract because they protect the consumer, your client. So
Consumer...
Sorry?
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏
Sorry?
Please carry on. It was a mistake. I've muted a person.
Okay. So as a tourism professional, you have to stay informed about consumer protection laws to ensure compliance and avoid penalties. That is so important. You have to be compliant with consumer protection laws because it can make or break your business. So you have to, in Nigeria, the consumer protection law that we have are, consumer protection laws related to tourism primarily fall under the Consumer Protection Council Act, which is CPC, which protects consumers against unfair practices in all sectors, including tourism. So there are specific regulations within the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation Act. The way I'm saying all these acts, you may not necessarily understand them now, but when they're important, when they come into play, you would definitely understand all of these things. So the Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation Act covers aspects like accommodation standards, service quality, and information disclosure to tourists. You always have to disclose whatever information will be necessary to your clients. So essentially ensuring tourists receive accurate information, safe services, and have avenues to address complaints if issues arise with tourism providers. So the governing body, like I said, is the Consumer Protection Council, and it is the primary agency responsible for enforcing consumer protection laws across all industries, including tourism. So there are some key consumer protections in tourism, which are rights to accurate information. Like I said earlier, tourists must be provided with clear and truthful information about services, prices, and conditions. So protection against misleading advertising, that's another thing that I noticed that a whole lot of tourism businesses do. Misleading advertising, it is against the law. So tourism operators cannot make false or misleading claims about their services. Your services have to be on par with exactly what it is you are providing to your clients. If you say, oh, we're going to cover your accommodation and all of that, and then your client travels out and you do not, in fact, cover their accommodation even after they have paid for it, it is against the law and there are penalties for it. So right to redress, which is tourists have the right to seek compensation for substandard services, cancellations, or damages. So basically, if you do not live up to the standard that you have set, or the standard that you have made your clients believe in, then they are by the law allowed to ask for a refund. Yeah. So if you do not, a refund or compensation. So if you do not live up to the services that you claim that you are providing, then they are allowed to ask for compensations or refunds, and then cancellations and damages. So if for whatever reason your company decides to cancel on your on the client, and you do not state specifically, maybe in the contracts, that you're allowed to cancel for this specific reason, but then you just cancel on them, they are allowed to get compensation from you for that reason. So, and then safety standards. Tourism providers must adhere to safety regulations regarding accommodation facilities and activities. So if you're going to put your clients in a specific hotel, you're going to put your clients on a specific flight, all those kind of things, you have to ensure that these things, that they live up to safety standards. You have to ensure that it is your duty, it is part of the services that you are providing for them or to them. So basically, if you do not comply to consumer protection laws, there are certain enforcement mechanisms. So if your client should complain to CPC, and if they complain to CPC, there is the possibility that your business may be shut down. If there is an investigation done and they find out that you have in fact not lived up to the quality of service, you have not provided what you're supposed to provide for your clients, there are very huge implications and complications that may arise. So this is still under contract. So it's basically saying that you have to include in your contracts and agreements consumer protection laws. Like there have to be clauses that cater specifically to your clients, that protect your clients, basically. So sorry, we're moving on to supplier and partner contracts. It is vital to have clear contracts with your suppliers and partners, because they can also make and break your business. If you're doing everything right, but the people that you have chosen to partner with or your suppliers are not living up to standard, then there's going to be a huge problem. So whether you're working with airlines, hotels, or local guides, your contract ensures that there is quality and consistency. So if you create a contract with your partners and your suppliers, in case of any issues, you know that you are covered, because you people have had this conversation and you have agreed that, okay, if you do not live up to the standard that I have set for my business, the implications or whatever arises from you not living up to the standard would be solely covered by you. If there is some sort of cancellation and that is the airline's fault, but it's not your fault, then the airline is the one that is going to be responsible for the compensation, responsible for indemnification and all of that. So you have to make sure that you have a contract that protects you with your suppliers and your partners. So for tour operators, you need specific licenses and permits. that you need to be a tour operator, and the specific license and permits is exclusive to the country that your client will be visiting. So your client may be visiting France or visiting some other country, something, and you have to get like licenses. Like if you're a tour operator in that country or those countries, then you have to get licenses that allow you to be a tour in that specific country. So there's risk management in tourism contracts. So tourism carries inherent risks, and contracts are a primary tool for managing these risks. So you need to have, and some of the risks are insurance. Sorry, I said some of the risks, sorry. So for instance, insurance policies are crucial. So when you have the right insurance, you can protect you and your clients against unforeseen incidents. Like I said, the force majeure, which is incidents that are unforeseen, that you cannot necessarily say, oh, this will happen. Like a tsunami, you can't say, oh, a tsunami is going to happen. So when you have insurance clauses, that helps cover things that you did not expect to happen. In case of a fire, like Zubi said, if you have insurance, then that is covered. But you have to get specific insurances. Like when you go to an insurance company, there are insurances, I think, for fire, for flood, and all of that. So that's something you would have to deal with your insurance company to make sure that you're covered all round. So another one is health and safety requirements. One major thing that I would always talk about in health and safety is COVID-19. Like at any point in time, health protocols can change rapidly. So you need to make sure that whatever may come up, thinking ahead, that whatever health or safety requirements may be needed in a situation that we do not necessarily think will come up, you have to make sure that you are covered in your contract. So basically, it's just saying that your contract has to be all round. The contract between you and your client, contract between you and partners or suppliers has to be concise, it has to be properly done, and it has to include everything that could possibly come up in tourism, and you have to make sure that you protect yourself even as you protect your clients. So it's not just about your clients, it's also about you protecting yourself and protecting your business. Because one thing people like to do is complain about a business, and when they complain about the business, that is bad marketing, and horrible reviews are not good for businesses. They could just tweet something like, oh, I traveled to this country and then the tourism company I used really messed me up and things like that. And honestly, that one tweet, whether it is right or not, could make your business, could make or break your business. So please, we have to ensure that we protect ourselves with our contracts and agreements. So sorry. Yeah, also digital contracts, apart from your paper contracts, is something that a whole lot of people are getting into now. As you know, the world is going digital, so you have to go digital too. So contracts are not always paper-based. For tourism businesses operating online, it's important to be aware of digital contracts considerations. So if you're going to get into it, you have to do your proper research about digital contracts, because even lawyers too, we have our e-stamps now. So even if you want to get this agreement or contracts reviewed, stamped, whatever, by a lawyer, you can do everything digitally. It is so convenient now. So that's one thing you really need to look into, which is digital contracts. So in conclusion on contracts are not just formalities, they are the foundation of trust and clarity in the tourism industry. So by taking the time to create a thorough, thoughtful contract, we not only protect our business, but also enhance our clients' experience and build stronger partnerships. So moving on, the next thing that I will be speaking on is intellectual property. If anybody has a question regarding contracts, what they believe should be involved in their contract, or key clauses that they believe should be in their contracts, or anything they do not understand about contracts, or where or why you need a contract, please let me know in the chat room. So
Yes,
please.
are you done?
No, I'm moving on to intellectual property.
Okay, that's the last one, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Please, if you have questions, please write in the chat box so she can answer. Even if if you have questions for Zubi, please ask them in the chat box and so that they can answer them during our Q&A session. Thank you. Go ahead, Amida.
Okay, let me just move on to. So intellectual property. Everybody knows that intellectual property is very, very important. I mean, there is nothing in business that is not important, but protecting your intellectual property is very important. So basically, we believe that once we register our business, we're good. Everything is protected. Our business name is protected. Our this, that is protected. No, it is not. When you register your business name, the business name itself is just registered. Like CAC recognizes your company, CAC recognizes that you've registered with them and all of that, but it doesn't necessarily protect your brand name. It doesn't protect your logo. It doesn't protect other key things that are essential to building your brand and strengthening your brand. So in an era where digitalization and competition are booming, intellectual property has become one of the most valuable assets for businesses in the tourism sector. So whether you're a tour operator, hotelier, or travel agency, protecting your unique brand, content, and innovations is crucial, not only to differentiate yourself, but to protect your investment. So to understand, there are different types of intellectual property in tourism. We have trademarks, which is the logos, names, and slogans. So your logo, your name, and your slogan is your trademark. You have to, as a brand, register your trademark, which is your logo, your name, and your slogan, in order for it to be solely yours. Registering your business alone does not protect all these things. You also have to register a trademark which covers your logo, your name, and your slogan. And this forms the backbone of any recognizable brand. It's just like Nike, and Nike is just do it, and there is nowhere you would see that tick and you won't know that it belongs to Nike, and nobody else can use it because that solely belongs to them. It's because those things have been trademarked for Nike. So if you want to have the same that same structure, you have to trademark your logo, your name, and your slogan. So copyrights basically, one of the intellectual properties is trademarks. Another one is copyrights. So copyright covers your creative content like promotional videos, travel guides, and photographs. So if you take pictures, you know how people take pictures and then they put their name across the picture to prevent people from maybe taking it off their page and all of that. you can go a step further, or it is better that you go a step further by copywriting your images, your promotional videos, your travel guides that are solely unique to your brand, your business. So it ensures that the hard work that you've put into designing a travel brochure is basically like how do I explain the travel brochure? I feel like everybody should know what a travel brochure is, but if you don't, please Google it, because I don't know how to
It's a travel guide. It's a travel guide.
Yes, basically a travel guide. Yes. So you have to copyright these things so other people do not steal these things from you. You would think taking a picture and not copywriting it and all of that is not important, but it is important if you want that picture to solely belong to your brand. And then there are patents, which is not as common in tourism, but they're still relevant. And like in innovations in travel technology, if you patent things like that, patent is basically saying, oh, I thought of this thing first and no other person, or well, other people can also think about it, but the fact that you thought about it first and you patented it first prevents like other people from coming out to say, oh, that is their original idea. So basically a patent is saying that, okay, I came up with this idea, this is my original idea, and if other people want to use this idea, they have to get a license from me to use the idea, that type of thing. So basically, it's actually even a money-making scheme. If you patent something first before other people, and then other people want to use it, they have to pay you. So that's a free business idea for you. Anyways, so there are some challenges, like some common intellectual property challenges in tourism. So which is IP thefts. Online, it is very common to see competitors or counterfeits misuse a company's brand, like I said, which is why you have to protect all these things. People can take your things online, so you have to stay protected. Your intellectual property should solely belong to you, so you should protect them so that people do not steal them. So there can be IP theft by your competitors, which is also a significant challenge. So if you have not trademarked or copyrighted or patented your things, and then someone else comes up and they're like, oh, this belongs to them, you do not, it's not like you don't, but your, let's say your argument is not as strong. I mean, if you go to court and you go through a whole lot of this thing, you may eventually win the matter, but why have to go through all that when you can just do it from the start to prevent any of these things from happening? So yes. You also have to create an IP strategy, which is a well thought out IP strategy is very critical. So you have to start by performing an IP audit to identify all trademarks. Yes, if someone has trademarked something before, you cannot trademark it again, which is why you have to be the first to trademark something. So you're not allowed to do that. You actually can't even do it. It's not even like you're not allowed to. You can't do it, because if something has been trademarked before, then it is protected for life. There is nothing you can do about it. So another important part of your strategy should involve employee and contractor agreements. So when working with creatives, photographers, or guides, make sure there's clarity on who owns the rights to any content or innovations they produce, which is where a contract comes in too. So a contract will also protect your intellectual property. So if you have if you have to work with your photographer or a creative or something, you have to make sure that they understand that, okay, you're taking this picture for me. This picture does not belong to you. You can even choose to tell them that, okay, you cannot post this picture on your website. You can't post this picture on your social media and stuff like that, because this belongs solely to me and my brand. So that's what copyright helps you to do. So, and then if you're looking to expand your brand through licensing or franchising, a strong IP strategy is very essential. Enforcing your IP rights. So creating a strategy is one thing, and then enforcing it is another thing. So you have to regularly monitor for any infringements, especially online, whether someone uses your brand name or your trademark or something. So you have to make sure that you're monitoring that nobody is using this thing. That falls on you. You have to make sure that nobody is using it. Then also, protecting your intellectual property is not just for defense. It can also drive growth. Like I said, if you see like a Nike logo or a Nike slogan anyway, you would know that it is Nike. Nobody has to tell you. You know it is Nike. So it also helps to drive growth. Like everybody knows, there is nowhere they will hear it. They wouldn't think about your brand immediately because they know that that solely belongs to you. So it also helps to drive growth. And then for businesses open to partnerships, protecting your intellectual property also strengthens your position in collaborations. So when you're working with hotels, travel agencies, or even local governments, knowing that your IP is secure gives you confidence in negotiations and increases your brand value. So, in conclusion, protecting your intellectual property is not just a legal formality, it's also an investment in your business's future. So in tourism, IP distinguishes you from your competitors, it builds trust with your customers, and it creates opportunities for growth. So after registering your business, after registering with CAC, you have to ensure that you also register trademark for your logo, your business name, and your so Jimmy said maybe provide them with memory cards for any shoot of photography or videography. So after the shoot, all images, both raw and edited, are handed over after the photography, or yes, or videography projects, along with the clause of not to use without your consent. Yes, so you have to make provisions for them to send these images to you. And also in the contract, which is why I said contracts are very important, you have to, if you're going to have a photographer, a videographer, all of that, please create a contract. Make sure that a contract is created so they know their obligations, you know your obligations, you know your duties to each other, and where they, or where, what was it? Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. So you know your duties and they know their duties, and the liabilities and all of that is covered. So, and also that they cannot use your intellectual property, because that picture, despite the fact that it is taken by them, belongs to you. Yeah. So
Amida, there's a question here. Can one trademark a name? Can one trademark a name without registering such names with the CAC? So that means, can I, if I don't have if I just have a name but I don't have it with CAC, can I trademark it?
Okay, so I think I'll step in on that one.
Okay.
Amida, thank you.
Yes. All right.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, please go on.
All right. So ordinarily, it's an individual can own a trademark, but the thing is, I would always say, to be on the safer side of things, it's better that you register your company first, because when you want to register a trademark, they would ordinarily ask you, okay, the name you want to trademark, what does the trademark, like, what does it do? Maybe if it's a company name, what does the company name do? If it's your personal name, you say, okay, I am so person, I am so important that I want to register, trademark my personal name, so that when my kids come up and whatever, they can say, oh, my father is trademark, my mother is trademark. Ordinarily, you can register a trademark because an individual can own a trademark. But to be on the safer side of things, if you're not trademarking your personal name, I think it's important to register a company and trademark the name. But you can decide to now own the trademarked name of the company. So if you sell your company tomorrow, there's a merger or acquisition, you can decide to still sell the trademark's name to the company who has already bought your company, or to whomever who has bought your company. This is just another aspect of getting more revenue from your business if you eventually decide to go into merger, acquisitions, and takeovers.
All right, thank you for that, 𝘧𝘐𝑵. There's another question. It's for you, 𝘧𝘐𝑵. Thanks for the information and answer the questions. Please, can you explain more about the tax incentives for small businesses in Nigeria and how it can be leveraged for tourism small businesses in the nation? Did you get the question?
Yes, I think I do understand it. I mean, the government tries to help small, medium enterprises. I mean, it used to be better way back, the help they used to give, than it is now. So I believe the only incentives I am very sure of are the ones for non-profit organizations that are all exempted from paying taxes. However, I do know some industries in Nigeria do not pay heavy taxes like some other industries. So maybe if you find an incentive by the government and you think it's something you can leverage upon, then you go for it. But I can't really say, oh, these are the incentives that the government has for so. And so I really do not work in that aspect of things.
All right, thank you very much for that, 𝘧𝘐𝑵. I'm checking, I'm not seeing any questions, but if we have opportunity for 2 more questions, so we can actually raise your hand and ask a question so that we can wrap up. We have about, say, 10, 15 minutes to go. Any questions? Does anyone have a question? You can raise up your hand, then I'll give you permission to speak. Does anyone have questions?
I need to add something to it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Amida talked about picture. So what people don't understand is that the copyright laws of Nigeria has stated that whomever takes a picture owns the picture. That's why I'm really grateful that she really emphasized on when you have a photographer, you get a contract with them, because the copyright laws have given them the right to own the images and to post them. That's why photographers can post ugly pictures of somebody and you're wondering, oh, why did they post that ugly picture? Didn't the person see it? Person can complain from now to tomorrow, but the photographer has 100% right over the property. And I believe there are people from other jurisdictions joining us. So for people in Europe, nobody owns any soft copy. Both the owner of the picture, the person in the picture, and the owner of the device, nobody owns it. I mean, those are more advanced laws from Europe. But what we have in Nigeria clearly states that an individual who takes a photograph owns the photograph 100%. So just like she said, tour guides, tourist companies, please make sure that you have your agreements in place with these photographers, with these videographers to state, please, whatever you're doing, you're going to assign all intellectual property to me. That's why we have what we call an intellectual property assignment agreement. Yeah, so that's about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you for adding that, 𝘧𝘐𝑵. Please, does anyone have a question? Okay, yes, somebody has asked a question here, Bethel. He says, can I register a company while I have a subset, e.g., a tour operating business having hotel, or I have to register them separately?
Oh, no, you can register it together, but what we would ordinarily advise is that you register it as a holding company, and then you decide to make other companies subsidiaries, or you can decide to register it as a company, for instance, 𝘧𝘐𝑵 International Limited, and then in the objects of the company, you incorporate whatever it is that you want to do, tour planning, hotel, restaurants, and if I real estate, whatever it is that you want the company to do, you can do it. Or if you want to have different names or under that holding company, you can have 𝘧𝘐𝑵 International Limited. Objective of the company is to do a tour business. Then you can register a subsidiary company under that holding company, meaning that the holding company will own 50% and above of the shares of the subsidiary company. Meaning, I'll open a second company, 𝘧𝘐𝑵 International Limited, a subsidiary company of 𝘧𝘐𝑵 International Limited, and then the second other company is going to be the subsidiary, and it's just going to be the hotel part of the business, and 𝘧𝘐𝑵 International owns 50% of the subsidiary. I don't know if it was clear, but that's how it works.
All right, thank you so much for that, ZB. One more question and then we wrap up. Any other questions? We can raise hands and I'll allow you, I'll give you permission to speak. Any question? Going once? Okay, someone has typed out something. Question: how can an existing business in Nigeria merge with an international entity?
So I think this is where you do your due diligence. You check if there, I mean, it's very possible, it's very doable, but you just have to have the international entity on board. There is no restrictions against doing business with foreigners. In fact, we have the expatriate business protection, we have foreign business protections. In fact, if you do business in some industries and you have foreigners there, for instance, mining and quarrying, some construction businesses, you get to be exempted for tax for, I think, about 5 years. So this, yeah, is very possible, but you need to have the personnel who are willing to invest in your business or merge with you internationally. You can do it. There's no restriction against it from Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much, Zubi. So that'll be the last question so that we can wrap up. Zubi, I know you have your services you'd like to share with us, so that our participants can know what you guys have to offer, and of course patronize you. Please have the floor.
All right, so once again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much, Amida, for the wonderful insights you've given us. So we are called Barinaada Legal Barinaada Legal, sorry, and we have different products. Barinaada Legal is basically a foremost startup-focused law firm that deals with tech companies, startup businesses, to make sure that you do not neglect the legal aspect of your business. We make sure that we help you put in your legal structure for a period of time, and we hold your hands through the developmental process of your business. So we have various products. The first product I'm going to be talking about is our BLS. It's called the Business Legal Structure. And we have different cohorts. In a year, we have about 3 cohorts. And it's a 3-month program where we encourage startup founders, business owners to join us for 3 months, where we have expert sessions. We have one-on-one legal assessment meetings, and then you can have as many legal assessment meetings as you want for the period of 3 months. We trademark your business, we incorporate your business, we do 4 bespoke contracts for you, or 3, depending on the package you are on, and so much more. We make sure that we have meetings. If you have co-founders, make sure we have meetings with your co-founders and all of that. So previously, the prices were different, but for our cohort in January, beginning from January 1st to March, the end of March, is going to be in 2 batches. We have the 500K plan and we have the 750,000 Naira plan. So you choose whichever plan is convenient for you and you jump on board, and you have an instrumental 3 payments, an instrumental payment of 3 times. You can pay instrumentally 2 times. You can start your payments now and round up before January. The next product is the Lawyer Up. For people who cannot be able to, or who don't think they need the BLS for 3 months, you can always sign up to our Lawyer Up platform. And it's just like Jumia, you order a legal service. So the moment you sign up for Lawyer Up, we send you an email and we have a free 30-minute call with you. Ordinarily, you pay for our consultation, but we have a free 30-minute call with you where you tell us what you need, and then we get right on to, we give you our invoice, and then once payment is made, we start work on it. It's just like Jumia, you go, you pick what you want, you pay for it, and then they deliver it. You don't have to join any classes. You don't have to have any extra meetings, except you need clarity on what we are doing for you. That's the Lawyer Up. You can choose one service and you pay for it, and that is about that. Then we have what we call our Sprout by BL, and that's an event coming up on the 5th of December, where we're going to have only 200 people. It's going to be a high-end network event for business owners, startup founders, innovators, developers, and whoever you can think about, key players in the startup industry, key players in the business industry. We're going to have we have slots for only 200 people, and it's going to be happening at Radisson Blu Ikeja on the 5th of December 2024. We're going to have key players in the industry come together to have a session. We're going to network, we're going to talk, we're going to learn. We have people like 𝘭𝑪 coming, we have 𝘰𝘰𝘳𝘪𝘀𝘆, we have 𝘁𝑒𝑠𝑠, we have a lot of people coming that day to speak. And ordinarily, our tickets would go for a certain price, but because you are on this or you're coming through our beloved Nene, you get discount. So for the program, we have our discounted prices. All you just have to say is, oh, I'm from Nene, or you can use Nene-Uwa as your discount code. For the VIP tickets, instead of paying 120K as your late bird fee or 100K as your early bird fee, you get to pay 50,000 naira only. This covers your lunch, your expert sessions, all the teachings, covers your gift bag, your souvenirs, and all of that. You get to pay 50,000 naira only. Then for the regular ticket, it would ordinarily be going for 50,000, but you get to pay 30,000, still covers your lunch, covers your gift bags, your souvenir, and access to all sessions we would have that day. So if you do need our services, just reach out to Mrs. Nene. She'll give you our contact and we can all take it up from here.
Thank you so much, 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝘏. So everyone that signed up for this will be getting an email with details of Barinaada's services and the discount on how to get the discount for the Sprout by Barinaada email event. Anything else, Amidat and 𝘧𝘂𝗍, before we wrap up?
No, Ma, thank you so much for really having us. Thank you for this wonderful platform, and thank you everyone for joining us. It was really a pleasure to interact with you.
Thank you so much for
𝘧𝘂𝗍𝗏.
giving us this platform. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Amidat. Thank you, everyone that tuned in today. I hope you've learned something. After this meeting, as closes, link, how would I call it, a feedback form that will ask you just about 2 or 3 questions. So that's what you learned from this. Said, I'm a product of Barinaada, paid for our services. BLS was my breaking point. How do I call it breaking point? It was what I needed for my business this year. And I just thought to share with other people. We're going to keep this recorded. We'll try and upload it on YouTube so that you can watch it again and learn. But like I said, if you need more information about Barinaada and the services they're offering, I'm going to send an email to everyone that registered, and you'll be getting those details. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Barinaada. I really, really appreciate it. Yes, you'll be getting information about the event, calling us. I will share it with you. Please share information about, I'll definitely send it by email so that you can get the details. So thank you, everyone. You can say your thank yous and your goodbyes in the chat for like 1 minute, and then we're done. Thank you, Amidat. Thank you, 𝘧𝘂𝗍𝘏. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for the information. And we look forward to working with you again in the near future. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, 𝘊𝑒𝑡𝑙. Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Collins. Thank you, everyone.